Jumpstart Hub. Let's have a talk with Álvaro Verdoy, CEO of Sales Layer. Why should founders target the US as a potential market?
Well, founders should consider the US as a potential market because it's by far the largest tech market in the world. Also, a very unified market. We are used to here in Europe for different countries with different languages, different cultures, and sometimes even different regulations. In the US, we have access to over 300 million people and thousands of companies that can be contacted with the same team and with a very similar go-to-market strategy. Also, it's a very tech-savvy market, very well-educated, always willing to invest in technology, in the latest things, and very used to buy online and even over the phone. So you will end up having customers that pay every month, every year for your product, and you've never met them in person. Also, I think we should consider that if you want to be an incumbent player in the world, or an incumbent player at least in your industry, you should be big in the US. There are no leaders in any industry that are not big or very big also in the US.
When is the right time to start operations in the US?
The right time, in my opinion, to start operations in the US is first when your product and your business model are both validated. Normally, the US is not the country to validate your business or your product. Only in very few situations is that the case. Also, when you have enough resources to spend or invest twice the money you have planned, because normally this kind of movements, these kind of operations are or end up being very, very expensive. And also when the part of the team, the management team, or even the founders are able to spend more than half of the year in the US, or even better, if they can move permanently to the country to run the operations directly from the US.
What should be the first steps?
Well, the first step to start operations in the US, in my opinion, is by start selling from your home country. If you can make it, that's a very positive sign. Then every investment you do on top of that, starting operations with team in the US, will be to add more value to your customers there or to go faster. Then another important step is to travel to different cities in the US several times to meet different ecosystems and consider the different options, because there's plenty of options in the US. Maybe Silicon Valley, Boston, New York are not the right choices, might be or might not. You should consider other options with a matrix where you evaluate what is the access to talent, the most important part, the cost of living, the flight connections, because you will have to travel a lot to the country back and forth, the access to customers and the access to potential investors. But overall, with the idea to start small, then go big, try and then scale operations when you've proven that you know how to make it.
What are the most common mistakes?
Well, in terms of mistakes, I think there are different ones. One that is very common is going to the US too soon. Start, as I said before, start by selling to the US, but from your home country. Also, another common mistake is investing in the US without doing your homework. For a European startup, validating your business in the US becomes normally very expensive. Another point, I think, will be hiring very expensive VPs that have been working previously in big corporates, promising that will open up a big market because they have a lot of contacts. At the end of the year, you will find out that you've invested a lot of money and they've not delivered as promised. Corporates and startups are very different ecosystems, their go-to-markets are different. I think you should start by with a junior team that is with a lot of potential, willing to do new things, and the seniority of that team should be added by the founding team that travels to the US. Another mistake could be being too optimistic, thinking that the US is like your domestic market. Competition is very hard. You should know that you are going to compete against the best of the best, and you should be ready for that. But overall, I think if founders, or if you do your homework, you have a very good product, very good value proposition, and just prepare to work hard, prepare to fight against the best in the world, and be ready to succeed in your US challenge.